This is Chapter 1 of Trigonometry, and we're starting out with Section 1.1, and the name of this section is called Angles. And what we're going to do is go through some basic terminology here. If we have 2 points, one is A and one is B, and we start putting all of the points between A and B here in a row, and there are an infinite number of points because between every point there's another point, and when you put these all together you get what is called a line segment. A line segment has 2 endpoints. If it does not have 2 endpoints, if it has an arrow at both ends that go into infinity, then it's a line. But when you have 2 endpoints, it's called a line segment. Alright, so if we were to connect or have all these dots so close together they made a line, and that went through B and went into infinity to the right, but started here, that's called a ray. And A is called the endpoint of the ray. And we name that ray, ray A, B. It always starts with the endpoint, and we put a little line over it, and the endpoint is above A, and the forever mark is above B. Okay, so when we're talking about angles, we're talking about a ray, and let's go ahead and put A and B here. And when we're talking about an angle, if we were to rotate this ray around its endpoint A, and we were to move this line up, we may get this ray here up here as it continues to move. So what happens is, let's say that we have this line segment right there, and we measure it. And let's say it's 3 inches. Well, when we're talking about an angle, what happens is we measure the distance between here and here. This distance between here and here is just like the distance between here and here. Here we use inches, but the distance between here and here, this is called the initial side, and this is called the terminal side. That's where it ends. So the distance between those two is measured in degrees. Sorry about my sloppy handwriting. They're called degrees. This part right here is called the vertex. And if we're going to name an angle, let's go ahead and clear this out and draw a nice, fresh, clean angle. So if we were to draw an angle like that, and this were A, and let's call this B and this C. If we were to name that angle, we could call it angle A. We could call it just by its vertex. Or we could call it angle BAC, which means we're going to put the vertex in the middle and the other 2 parts of it at the beginning and end. It's also angle CAB. Alright, so why would we call it BAC rather than just angle A? Well, let's say that, let's get rid of this angle and kind of move it to the middle so we can do some stuff to it. If we had angle ACB, but let's say this line went through here and this line went through here. Now, if I called this angle A, which angle am I talking about? This one, this one, this one, or this one? But when I call it BAC, I'm designating which angle I'm talking about. So that's why we have different ways of naming the angles, so that that doesn't happen. Okay, so when we have an angle that has as its initial side this right there, and let's say that we do a terminal side and we go counterclockwise in order to get up to it. When it goes counterclockwise, it's going in a positive direction. The angle is positive. When it's going clockwise, it's going in a negative direction. So clockwise is a negative angle, counterclockwise is a positive angle. Alright, so degree measure. If we're trying to measure the degree of an angle, we use, like I said earlier, degrees. And when we start here and we draw all these angles, or we just draw one angle, but if we go all the way around to our initial side again, we have 360 degrees to go all the way around. So there's 360 degrees in a complete rotation of a ray. If we go 90 degrees, I'm going to go ahead and draw the XY axis, and let's say that this is our initial side. If we go 90 degrees, we end up with a right angle. If we continue on, we go to 180 to 270 to 360. So, any angle between 0 and 90, so it would be this angle between 0 and 90. It cannot be 0, cannot be 90. It's got to be in between. It's called acute. Any angle that is more than 90 but less than 180 is called obtuse. A strictly 90-degree angle is called a right angle. If we have an angle, let's see what we can do for color. Let's do green. If we have an angle that is here, and it goes all the way around to here, so it's a straight line, it's called a straight angle. And if we are going to designate an angle, when we use algebra and we're trying to figure out what the unknown is, we will use the letter X. But when we don't know an angle, we use the Greek letter theta, spelled Theta. You will be using lots of Greek letters to represent the unknowns. When you take two angles and add them up, and when you add them up they equal 90 degrees, they are called complements of each other. So I need to find a really awesome blue here. So if we have an angle here, and we add an angle here, and if we add that to that and we get 90, they're complements of each other. So if this is a 30-degree angle, this angle here, if it's a complement of the 30, it's going to add up to be 90. So that means the complement of 30 is a 60-degree angle, because what is the angle that we add to 30 to get 90? That's complementary. If we are drawing an angle, and I say, what is the angle that's supplementary to this? That means, what angle am I going to add to this angle, which is 120, that is going to give me 180. So this one is going to be a 60-degree angle. So the supplement of 120 is 60. The supplement of 60 is 120. It's whatever I have to add to the angle I'm given to get 180. Complementary, what do I have to add to the angle to get 90? So in this case, the complement of 60 is 30. The complement of 30 is 60.